What's up, everyone? Welcome to the 142nd edition of the Sports Reality. My name is Jeremy John, aka the fourth greatest Grenadian of all time.
Perfect.
AKA the Lil Wayne of podcasts, because I will get on any podcast and hit it with the J Train.
Perfect.
Let's welcome my guest for this week's episode, cousin Big Thad. Big Thad, what you been up to, man?
No, man. Same old, you know. Just living the life in COVID, man.
Yep. I guess we will get into COVID-19 for sure sometime, into this episode, especially during our sports free zone. But there is something new. We are recording video for the first time.
Yes, sir.
Doing, I guess, a beta version to see how this works out. Hopefully you all enjoy this. Thad, you and I spent hours trying to make sure everything was nice and smooth. Like how long have we been working on this?
A couple days and then a couple hours today before, this live session. So yeah, it's been crazy trying to figure this out.
But hey, it looks like we figured it out.
I think so.
So yes, we are currently live streaming on YouTube and Facebook on the Sports Reality YouTube page, and then the Sports Reality Facebook page also, not my personal page, the Sports Reality Facebook page. So you can see us there on those two channels, or if you're listening to us obviously on the podcast platform of your choice, we thank you for listening. Just want to remind you all to subscribe to the podcast where podcasts are available, and that includes Apple, Anchor, iHeartRadio, Spotify, Stitcher, TuneIn, YouTube now, and any other major podcast platform. Just make sure you subscribe to the podcast where podcasts are available. Spread the word to people. Leave a review so we can grow, definitely reach more people. Today's episode, we got a lot to talk about. We're going to talk about the NFL playoffs championship weekend. We're also going to talk about some other news in the NFL, coaching hires, the lack of black head coaches in the NFL. We're also going to get into the NBA, talk about the Washington Wizards. Jeez, it's so hard to talk about them right now. So hard talking about them, but we're going to get into them. We're also going to talk about the Brooklyn Nets, LeBron James. We're also going to get into Baseball Hall of Fame. We'll have our sports free zone where we discuss Joe Biden's executive orders, and we will have an additional guest come on the episode. It will be her second time, my cousin Chrissy, or our cousin Chrissy. We will talk about dating, and more specifically, the pettiest reasons you stop talking to a significant other.
Oh, this is gonna be messy. It's gonna be so messy. It's great.
And then our Reddit topic of the week, it actually stems from a question from one of my friends, Anthony Hackett. He asked the question about transgender athletes, what should happen, and Matt and I spoke about this literally 3 years ago. I think it was like episode 10. Yeah, so it was like 3 years ago. So you ever been on a Facebook post and was just like, you know what, I could just say this a lot faster than actually typing it out?
Yeah, all the time.
So I was just like, you know what, I'm gonna just talk about it. We could just talk about it, and then we go from there. I'll of course tag him and whoever else wants to hear our response, but we'll get into that. And like I said, pass the word, we are live right now on YouTube and Facebook.
We live, baby. We live.
But before we continue with the show, we do have to talk about, we have to remember some great legends that have unfortunately passed away. Yesterday was the 1 year anniversary of Kobe Bryant, Gigi Bryant, and 7 others that passed away in a helicopter crash a year ago yesterday. Thad, where were you when you heard the news that Kobe Bryant had passed away?
Let's see. I think I was at home. To be honest with you, I think I was at home and I seen it on Facebook. Somebody talking about Kobe's gone. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I said, you know how social media is. They're like, yeah, something happens, and you're like, whatever, ain't nothing true. And then of course I do my due diligence and go look on the internet, and I'm searching around, and I'm seeing nothing. Literally seeing nothing at all about it. I'm the whole time sitting there like, yo, these people are crazy. I don't even know what they're talking about. Then yeah. Then all the reports came in. I think it was the TMZ came, and I was like, well, if TMZ got it, it's got to be legit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? As bad as you want to say, if TMZ, most of the time they're right when everything goes on.
Yeah, man. I was actually leaving a funeral. I left the funeral and I was sitting in a Wendy's parking lot getting some food before I went. I think I was doing Uber right after the funeral. So I was going to work a little bit. And yeah, I just saw the news that I actually got a text from a family member like, yo, Kobe passed away. And I'm like, what? That just doesn't make sense. And they're like, oh, yeah, it's some accident. I'm like, huh? And I'm even looking at, like you said, the news, and I'm sitting there like, this just doesn't make any sense at all. And then obviously the TMZ report comes out, and then all other news outlets start talking about that. Kobe Bryant and his legacy. What will you always remember Kobe Bryant for, then?
Him and Shaq, you know what I'm saying, winning championships. Him and Gasol winning championships. Him basically being Jordan Jr. You know what I'm saying? Like, just a taller Jordan. You know what I'm saying? But just great in his own right. So yeah, that's what I remember him for.
Yeah, man. I remember him as just an ultimate competitor. Won 5 titles with the Los Angeles Lakers. Played his entire year with entire career with the Los Angeles Lakers. I remember there's a lot of memories around Kobe Bryant.
Mm-hmm.
Hanging with my friends, especially, when you're in college and you get out of school and at the end of April or the beginning of May and it's still NBA playoffs. We're going out every night to a restaurant or by someone's house to watch playoff games, and a lot of them dealing with Kobe Bryant. A lot of life memories were around the Lakers during that time. And
oh yeah, definitely.
Kobe Bryant, like, you had a birthday party, the Lakers were probably playing at the same time. Or it's Memorial Day weekend. Oh yeah, the Lakers are in the Western Conference Finals during that time. Or it's graduation weekend, and oh yeah, the Lakers are in the NBA Finals. And after the graduation party, we're actually watching the game at the graduation party, and then just the phenomenal, the 81-point game. I remember watching at least the second half of that game, and it's just like, hold on, is he doing this? 81 points, like, for real? And the one thing I remember about that game was the Lakers needed almost every bit of that 81.
Right.
They were down by like 15 when he caught fire, and then they ended up winning by like more than 20, I believe. The 62-point game in 3 quarters.
Yeah.
The countless NBA finals and postseason performances, man. He'll be missed, but also not just him. His daughter was on that plane, and some of her friends and families were on there. So, there were a lot of families that were destroyed during this time. But Kobe Bryant, man, he will definitely be remembered forever. I'm actually glad that people on social media didn't go crazy with the reckless tributes,
like always.
With the tagging of the Bryant family. Obviously they know it's the 1-year anniversary, but we don't have to remind them that it's the 1-year anniversary. They obviously live it every day. The NBA did a good thing with all their games doing the tributes. A lot of players had their own tributes, so that was really good. And Kobe will be remembered forever. Also, this past weekend, Hank Aaron passed away.
Ooh.
The
How old was Hank? He had to be in his 80s, right?
Yeah, in his 80s.
Okay.
He passed away. Some people call him the original home run king. He passed Babe Ruth.
Right.
You have that iconic home run when he hit 716. And this is, in the 70s where he's getting death threats.
Right.
He had 2 home runs, 1 home run to tie, 2 to break the record at the end of one season. And he said he really wasn't sure if he was going to make it to the next season because people were saying that they were going to kill him or assassinate him, harm him and his family. And he said it was a stressful time. He then hits the first home run, I believe, in Cincinnati. And then the home run to break the record, he hits it in front of the home crowd at Atlanta. Then 2 random white guys run on the field at the same time as he's rounding second. Come on, what's going on?
Halfway, take a few steps.
And it's I know he was terrified, and he talks about it, or he spoke about it. He's like, yeah, I really thought that was someone who was really trying to kill me initially, and then he realized, okay, they were celebrating with him, and he obviously gets the home plate. He's celebrated by his team and the fans, and then he goes on to end up hitting a total of 750 or 755?
Yeah,
I think it was 755. Mm-hmm. That record stood until Barry Bonds broke it. And but yeah, because of Barry Bonds, a lot of people say that Hank Aaron is the real home run king. Do you have any? So obviously Hank didn't play when you were alive, but do you have any sort of memory of anything with Hank Aaron?
Not really. Besides, the occasional appearances by him and him being around Barry Bonds, since that's his godfather. So yeah, man, it's just of course I'm not old enough to watch what he did, you know what I'm saying, but in real time, but seeing footage and stuff like that is always great to see, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, man, Hank will be he will be missed. There were a lot of people a lot of conspiracy theorists, they're out there saying, oh, well, Hank Aaron just got a COVID test and he died, COVID vaccine, and he died.
Right.
Mind you, the cause of death was not COVID-19, or at least that's not what the family came out and said. But then we have these, conspiracy theories that, vaccine must be trash because he died. Let's just entertain that real quick. Let's say he did pass away from COVID-19. There's a chance that he might have had it before he got the vaccine.
Right.
So that's something that is possible. But these conspiracy theorists, these hoteps out here, they just run with anything that they can. But yes, Kobe Bryant, Hank Aaron, and this one's outside of sports, but Larry King, man, he passed away. Did you know that?
Somebody said something. I heard about it, but it didn't even click that it was Larry King. You know what I'm saying? They were just like, yeah, Larry King died. It was nothing. You know what I'm saying? But that's crazy. Wow.
Yeah, man.
What was up with him? Was it just old age? COVID?
I mean, he was old, man. Right. He was
I thought there was still Larry King live. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's fun. I don't know where the show was on, but he did have a show.
Yeah. He definitely had a show for years. I want to say it was CNN or something like that.
Yeah, it was CNN. I'm talking about I think he even had one up until a few months ago, I believe. He had it somewhere. I just don't know where. I just don't know where it was. But yes, Larry King, Kobe Bryant, Hank Aaron, They will be missed. Let's now get into the NFL recap. Conference championship week. Did you watch these games then?
I watched the Tampa Bay Packers game. It really, I was really surprised at what was going on. It was crazy. And then, of course, you have the perceived GOAT of the new generation doing what he does best. It's crazy, man. I really wish that Aaron had made it, but hey, he had to pass the GOAT. Didn't happen.
So we will get into that a little later.
Mm-hmm.
A little later in this segment, because you spoke about the GOAT. So we will get into that a little bit later. Let's recap the scores for championship weekend. The Buccaneers defeated the Packers 31-26. And the Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Buffalo Bills 38-24. Let's start with the Buccaneers Packers game. This guy, Kevin King. Did you know who he was? Did you know who he was before this game?
No idea who he was. No idea. I didn't even know. I saw the play happen, but I didn't know who he was until I saw a text in our family group message talking about Kevin King, and I'm like, "Who's that?" Like, oh, it's that guy.
Mind you, I can't put blame really on him. I mean, he is a DB. He gave up a touchdown that was crucial in a situation that could have just limited the Buccaneers' lead to 7. They then went up by 11 with that long bomb to Scotty Miller. Tom Brady started out the game hot. 3 touchdowns in the first half. At halftime, the score is, and let me bring up the score real quick. At halftime, the score is 21-10. After that Scotty Miller pretty much Hail Mary to at the end of the half. But then the Buccaneers score another touchdown after a Packers fumble, go up 28-10. But then Packers score a touchdown, 28-17. Buccaneers throw an interception. Packers score another touchdown, 28-23. Buccaneers throw another interception. When I say Buccaneers, Tom Brady throws another interception. But then Packers have the punt. Buccaneers get a field goal. Packers are now trying to go for the win. Go for the tie, actually. They're trying to go for the tie.
Right.
They're down by 8. You get first and goal on, I believe, the 8-yard line. Now, let me bring up the plays here so I can make sure I'm correct with these plays. First and goal from the 8. It is a incomplete pass to Davante Adams. Second and goal, incomplete pass to Davante Adams. I'm sorry. I have the plays mixed up. To Lazard first. Incomplete pass. Second down, incomplete pass to Davante Adams. And third down was the play where it was Aaron Rodgers is scrambling. And it seems like he has an opening.
Right.
And then he pulls it back and just tries to throw it to Davante Adams, incomplete pass. Fourth down, I remember watching the game. I'm like, well, you got to go for it. It is. And let me get the exact time on the clock. It's just over 2 minutes left in the game. And I'm like, you got to go for it. Worst case scenario is you don't get it. Now you have to stop them. You have 3 timeouts. Hopefully you stop him, you get the ball back. And then you keep it moving.
Right.
Matt LaFleur decides to kick the field goal. Like, what is he thinking there, Thad?
You know what? I think he has, for some reason, he's on this analytics thing too, like the rest of these coaches, man. Like some of these coaches this season just make some real bad decisions. And it's all off of this analytics thing, you know what I'm saying? Or the statistics and yada, yada, yada. It was like, yo, you could tell how your team is playing, how the defense is playing against your offense. You know what I'm saying? Like, go based off of your play. You know what I'm saying? You want to play to win regardless. Now, I understand kicking a field goal, but then again, you got to think of who you're playing against. You know what I'm saying? If you have one of those type of quarterbacks that you're playing against that 2 minutes is a lot of time for some of those quarterbacks to do what they have to do to manage the game. Because what they're going to do, they're going to get the yardage that they need, but they're going to run that clock down to the point that you're not going to have time to come down the field and score again. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what LaFleur was thinking. Besides, it's probably that analytics stuff that we don't like.
This is also my thing. Like I said, the worst case scenario is you don't convert the fourth and goal,
and you're all the way down there.
They're deep in their own territory.
Yeah,
which means the play calling is going to be already a little more conservative.
It's literally going to be 2 runs and a pass.
2 runs and like maybe a bootleg or a screen.
Right. You understand? That's all it's going to be.
Just literally. That we watched so much football in our lives. You played football in your life. I mean, even in flag football, when I've played, this is what you got to do. If they're deep in their own territory late in the game, okay, you at least have a shot to get the ball back because they're not going to want to throw a pick deep in their own territory. They're going to be really conservative, even with a quarterback like Tom Brady.
Yep.
But yet, you go for the field goal. All it does is, okay, you got 3 points closer.
Right.
And then now
you literally give them the whole field at that point in time.
Yeah, because now they're at the 25.
Yeah.
And now the pressure isn't on. And then of course they convert the first down off of a penalty, which I'll say this. It was pass interference. However, for 59 minutes of that game, they weren't calling that exact play.
Right.
So I understand why people were upset. I understand why fans of the Packers are just fans that just wanted a good game.
It's the Tom Brady effect. It always happens.
That is true.
That's them. It always happens. It's Tom Brady. You can't play against Tom Brady and the refs.
Oh man, but that's how it is. That's how it is. Now, talking about Tom Brady, this is his second team now. Yeah. First year with a second team.
First year with a second team.
Made it to the Super Bowl. Is he now? You mentioned this era's GOAT. You said that he is this era's GOAT based on what people say. Right. What do you say?
Man, this is what, 10 Super Bowls now?
Yep.
10 Super Bowls. You could say maybe you take away one. No, you can't really say you could take away one, because if Drew Bledsoe doesn't get hurt, he still gets a Super Bowl win. I mean, like, me. I'm an 80s kid, so Montana will always be my GOAT. But going 10 Super Bowls, winning 6, 6, right? Going for his 7th win?
Yes, going for his 7th.
You got to give it to him. Who else has does anybody have more or no?
Not at quarterback.
No. Okay.
More, actually. Charles Haley has 5.
So, I mean, when he GOAT, I mean, you kind of got to give it to him, man. You got to give it to him, especially if he wins 7. He'll be 7 for 10. I mean, you still got Montana with 4 for 4. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, you're going to always have that. They're going to be like, Montana, well, he's so old. We don't know nothing about that. But 20 years, dominating for 20 years in I would say semi-weak conference, but still manages to do what he does with some of the worst talent around him besides that Randy Moss year, and then now with Tampa Bay with those quality players. I think these are the best wide receivers he's ever had I would say. So, I mean, Tampa's defense definitely helped out a lot with this, but you can't deny him. You can't deny him. Yeah, I'll say you have to give him the GOAT status for sure.
So before this season, I would say he is the most accomplished quarterback in NFL history.
True.
If I was saying total package, I was still going with a couple guys ahead of him. Now, he already has 6 Super Bowls.
Right.
This could be the 7th. And I'm not going to be one of those that say, okay, he loses, then there's no way. No. Like, I mean, it's still 6. Yeah. In my opinion, then yes. I mean, I'm not going to fight you on Tom Brady. I'm not going to be like, nah, it can't be him. You know, it's gotten to that point. I compare Tom Brady to like and it's weird because it's a different sport, but I compare him to someone like Bill Russell in basketball, because Bill Russell in 13 seasons went to the NBA Finals 12 times and won 11.
Right.
But Will Chamberlain was better than him.
Right.
And that's kind of how I feel about, like, and I'm not saying Tom Brady, and I'm not saying Peyton Manning is the best, but I feel like even in their head-to-heads where Brady and the Patriots typically beat the Colts and Manning,
right,
Peyton Manning was still better than him, in my opinion.
I feel you. I feel you on that.
But Tom Brady is more accomplished.
Yeah.
And
that was all the categories too.
Yeah, and that was before this season, I would say that. Now I'm kind of like, well, I mean, I ain't gonna fight you if you say Tom Brady. I mean, he could be. Yeah, I guess so.
I mean, you see him this season and like compare it to Peyton's like what last 2 seasons.
Yeah, Peyton's last year. Woo.
Yeah, like it's so weird that you see those two and you think of them as, 1 and 2, whatever, and how much like Peyton fell off his last season, and then like this like Tom's perceived last season. Like who knows? He'll probably go like another 2 seasons the way he's acting, but like say this is his last season. Like he's had a great season. Like I would love to just like do the whole retire like Peyton, retire with a Super Bowl win. You know what I'm saying? But he looks like he could go another 2-3 years, man.
I mean, if he's gonna have the defense that he has this year,
right,
as the cast of guys that are there right now, I mean, I don't see anything. I think he could play another year or 2 at a decent level, especially another year. So yeah, Tom Brady could definitely. I'm not going to fight anyone who says he is the GOAT. Now, if you say he's the GOAT just simply because of championships, just like Michael Jordan, I don't say he's the GOAT just because he's 6 for 6. Because you have a guy who's 11-1 as a lead dog in Bill Russell. It's a lot of the other things, and Tom Brady has a lot of those other things right now.
Right,
the touchdown record, and he looks like he's going to have it because Breeze may be wrapping it up.
Yeah,
Breeze missed a couple games, which put him back in the race for number 1.
We'll have to wait. We'll have to wait till Super Bowl, man, because I honestly think like if I don't see Breeze announcing it anytime soon if he retires. I think he's gonna wait until after the Super Bowl to make that retirement thing. So yeah, man. God, I can't argue with. I really can't fight. I can't fight with nobody about Tom being the GOAT. I can argue. I can somewhat agree, but I can't fight it. You know what I'm saying? Can't do it.
Now, Kansas City Chiefs, they defeated the Buffalo Bills. I have no analysis for you. I did watch the game, but the Chiefs just beat them. The score might seem like it was a little close, but they beat them hands down.
Nah.
I ain't even getting into this game. Next week we'll talk about the actual Super Bowl, but are you excited about this matchup? A rematch of an earlier game this year, a game where Tony Romo even said this might be the Super Bowl right here in the stadium because they played in Tampa earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
That was a game where Tyreek Hill went off for like 200 yards, 3 touchdowns in the first half.
Yeah,
But
yeah, that's right.
Stormed back and made it a game. And then at the end, Patrick Mahomes went on a 4-minute drill to kill the game. And Tony Romo said, this is quite possible that this can be a rematch in this very stadium. And it is. The Buccaneers are the first team to play a Super Bowl in their home stadium. We've had the 49ers back in the 80s play a Super Bowl at Stanford.
Right.
But it's not their home stadium, but they were the host team of the Super Bowl. But this is the first time that a team will play in their home stadium. So that's a great accomplishment. And I remember seeing, look, I did want to see, if I had to rank the matchups, I wanted to see Chiefs, Packers, then Chiefs, Buccaneers.
Yeah.
What I did not want was the Bills somehow getting it. Because look, they had a good year, but
right.
I ain't trying to see another Bill Super Bowl for you to lose. Like,
Right.
That's not what I want.
After three in a row, losing those, we don't need the fourth one. You know what I'm saying? We don't need to see another one.
So I was like, nah, man, I just want to see the Chiefs for sure, and I don't care who comes out of the NFC. So this should be a good game. Next week we will talk about the actual game and we'll give our predictions. Other news in the NFL. Last week, you and I discussed about Deshaun Watson and said that if there's a team that has a shot at getting him in a trade, it would be the New York Jets. Well, Adam Schefter came out a couple days later and said that the Jets were one of the teams that Deshaun Watson was thinking about playing for.
Perfect.
So,
well done.
I guess you could say we were ahead of the curve on that one.
Right.
Now I'm not gonna sit here and act like my opinion was so unique, because there probably was literally a million other people who might have thought the same thing. But hey, we did talk about it on the podcast,
right.
so I'm glad that we were able to get into that. Now, it seems like no matter who the Houston Texans hire, he's not returning, and that's because he is upset that he even got mistreated in the whole situation. So it seems like it's all over right now in Houston. Ultimately, do you think the trade gets done, Thad?
I mean, he has a no trade clause, so he's going to have to be like, hey, but the Jets, I mean, I think the Jets, they'll give up for him. You know what I'm saying? I honestly think they'll give up for him. It just all depends on what they're going to do afterwards. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to bring other players in. Now, granted, having Deshaun as the quarterback will bring some players in, but it is a Jets organization, man. It could be a dumpster fire with him being there. You know what I'm saying? So it could happen. It could definitely happen. I know Houston doesn't want it to happen. They definitely don't want it to happen, but hey, I think if the price is right, they might. I think it depends on who. If it happens, they're going to have to decide on who they want to get for their own quarterback, because they're going to need a quarterback. Considering hiring a practice squad quarterback that they had. So I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know.
You mentioned it to me, and it's a great segue to the next topic. We're seeing more and more white head coaches being hired. We had a guy, I don't even know the dude's name, but the Philly hired him. He was the offensive coordinator that did not call plays for the Colts. He did. He does have ties with the Eagles because I believe he was with the Eagles before. I believe, but I think he was with them, and then Frank Reich took him to the Colts, and then now he is going to the Eagles. Or it could be a situation where Frank Reich hired him. Frank Reich is speaking well about him. Let's bring him in. He was not even expected to be interviewed, so much that he was on vacation, and during the Zoom meeting, he had on like t-shirt and shorts because he was not prepared.
Hey, I mean, I don't blame him.
Look,
I can't blame him. He's on vacation. Why would you have a suit and tie on your vacation?
exactly, but it's just like, damn sure as a black coach, they would have been like, "Huh? You're not ready. You're not prepared. You're not. How are you not? It is a multi-billion-dollar industry. Like, how are you not ready?" And then obviously, yeah, you might be on vacation, but come on, dog. Like, get a.
Go get a dress shirt or something.
Yeah,
Real quick.
man. Like, go to the store. Tell them, look, I coach for the Indianapolis Colts. I'm about to be hired by the Eagles.
I need a dress shirt.
Something, and I'm gonna give y'all a shout out for helping me out. You're gonna get business.
Right. Dress shirt. Like, you know what? Be honest, he didn't even need a dress shirt. He could have had a t-shirt. Just give him a jacket real quick to put on.
Yeah, like a clean white tee or a V-neck, and you would have been fine. But no, and I can't remember who tweeted it, but they were like, so the way they tweeted it was almost like, oh man, he's such a down to earth guy. He's so lovable. Da da da. And it's just like, huh? Like, nah. And then of course, like we say, the league is 70% black, and there's not a lot of black head coaches. We have the Buccaneers themselves, both coordinators are black. You have Todd Bowles on the defense and Washington, D.C. native Byron Leftwich, who was a decent quarterback in the NFL for a few years,
right,
and now has been a very good offensive coordinator. You have Leslie Frazier, who's the defensive coordinator for the Bills, who was in the AFC title game. The offensive coordinator that actually calls plays, Eric Bieniemy. He has an interview, but somehow for years has been passed over. And does
he call plays?
He does call plays.
Okay, because I don't know, man. There's got to be something up with Eric Bieniemy. I don't know, because I know, what was it? The last time, I guess it was last year or the year before, there was talk that he didn't call plays. That he prepared, you know what I'm saying? But Andy was calling plays. So I'm like, okay, I kind of understand that, whatever. But I mean, if he's now doing this and he's now calling plays a lot more, like, there's got to be something else that we don't know for them to not even interview the guy. You know what I'm saying? There's got to be something, man. There's no way you can tell me you can't not at least interview him. You know what I'm saying? Especially if your star quarterback even says, hey, I want him to be our coach. I want you to interview him. And then you don't do it, but you say you're going to make sure that you're involved in our coaching decisions and GM decisions and whatnot. And you don't even at least interview the coach that he wants. Something's wrong, man. Something's very wrong.
So he has had run-ins with the law in college. He had an incident where he got in an altercation with a firefighter. He had an incident, I think, where he got arrested for a bar fight in college. But that hasn't stopped any other coach that has ever that have had issues and run-ins with the law. Also,
right.
Here's another key thing. Andy Reid has a very good coaching tree. Yeah. Matt Nagy was under him.
Mm-hmm.
He didn't call plays when he was with Andy Reid. Doug Peterson did not call plays when he was with Andy Reid. There's a third coach in the league right now under Andy Reid that did not call plays. They all got head coaching jobs without calling the plays. And Eric Bieniemy, who does call the plays, has not. And mind you, the only coordinator to win a Super Bowl with Andy Reid is Eric Bieniemy.
True.
so that's my thing. That's my thing with this whole with this whole situation. I believe we have other news in the NFL. Do we have anything else in the NFL before we get out of here? Real quick, last question. What has to happen to make sure that there are more black head coaches in the NFL?
I don't know, man. I don't know if it's. I don't know. I mean, besides maybe owners, like certain owners, need to be gone. You know what I'm saying? Only thing I can think of is, just these coaches getting better. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've had a few that have been very good, like Coach Tomlin. I can't even remember his name right now. The old Indianapolis Colts coach,
Tony Dungy and
Tony Dungy. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. We have a couple that have been very successful, but then the other ones we've had have been trash. You know what I'm saying? It's a real trash. And I mean, like, some of them has been with the team coaching for multiple years and just trash. But then you got the ones that are coaching for 2-3 years and then they're gone. Like the Chargers coach, where he had a pretty good season with a rookie quarterback, you know what I'm saying, and got fired. And I still don't understand that firing, but
I kind of understand Jim Caldwell. I understand what's his name. I said Jim Caldwell. I understand. Man, what's dude's name out there?
See, there we go.
Anthony Lynn. Anthony Lynn.
Yeah.
I kind of remember because they started out real bad. It's just the last half of the season they caught on fire. My big issue is, you're right. We have had some black coaches that have had bad performances as head coaches. My issue is we've also had white coaches who have been equally as bad and somehow got second and third chances relatively quickly. Like Jim Caldwell, he had a very good run. His worst year with the Colts was the year that Peyton Manning got hurt.
Right.
They tanked for luck, and then they fired him. Mind you, they went to the Super Bowl a few years prior with Jim Caldwell. He then goes to Detroit, and he has 2 playoff years in 3 seasons, and you fire him.
It is Detroit, though.
And then they bring in Matt Patricia, who's terrible.
Yeah.
Adam Gase was bad in Miami. He gets fired, and 2 days later, he's in New York.
Yeah.
So it's just, and those are just stories like in the last couple years. I mean, we could go further back in time. Right. I think you're right, man. Some owners just need to die at this point and have.
Wow, I didn't say all that. I was
man.
They just got to go. You know what I'm saying? Remove them like Snyder. Just remove them. You know what I'm saying?
These owners ain't going nowhere. They Draculas, so they just gotta they gotta hit the fire. They gotta hit the flame. Like they gotta go. And you just gotta get new blood in here. And I know
I think also NFL needs to change how they do things in regards to when coaches can be interviewed, especially around this time, playoff time, where a lot of teams, they're evaluating their team, but there's still 4 or 5 weeks where, you got playoffs. So playoffs and Pro Bowl and all that other nonsense. But I think they need to they got to adjust that time period where, like some of these coaches are losing out on positions because their teams are so successful and going to the Super Bowl. True. And next they're like, well, can I interview for position? The position was taken 2 weeks ago while y'all were still playing in the playoffs. So, yeah. So I think that part needs to change. I think that definitely needs to change. Rooney Rule, I'm going to say it's just some of these hirings happen so quickly that I'm like, are these interviews even actually happening, or is it like they're using these hiring consultants or hiring groups to like go through the candidates, and then they're down to like 2 or 3, and then they might come in for a hour talk or whatever, and then next thing you know, they're like, yep, we had our coach, and there was nobody that anybody even thought they were going to pick. So I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like they saw the loophole in the Rooney Rule where they're like, oh, let's just get the first minority candidate like day one, and then keep it moving.
Get it out the way, yeah.
And it's always like Marvin Lewis, who you're not going to who you're not going to hire. Hugh Jackson. They're going to bring, and then they're like, okay, we know you're not going to. And then the next day, it's we got our head coach. Like I was like, okay, well that wasn't much of an interview. And look, I understand there are times where you're like, yo, I want that person.
Right.
But there has to be a true interview process. And, everyone talks about Mike Tomlin, how they said if he didn't get interviewed, he wouldn't even no one would have said, oh, he's pretty good. Like, we didn't keep him. We didn't hire him, but he's pretty good. And I can't remember who was the team that eventually passed up on him. And I bet you it was a team that hasn't won a Super Bowl yet. So anyways, man, I don't know, man. Like I said, people in power just gotta like get out of here. And I was a little aggressive. Some of them need to die. Some of them are old and racist. They just need to die and get out.
My man said they gotta die.
That ain't changing. Like my friend asked me, he knows I'm a Cowboys fan. I'm like, yo, the Cowboys will never hire a black head coach with Jerry Jones. No, it's not happening.
Not at all.
Dallas is very similar to Washington D.C. in the fan base.
Right.
Similar.
Very similar.
Northern Virginia don't get along with a lot of things with people of color. So yeah, man, and that's Dallas right there, man. But that's what I think is gonna have to happen in order to get more representation when it comes to head coaches in the NFL. That'll wrap it up here for our NFL segment. Let's now get into the NBA. Big Thad.
Yeah.
Watching have you been watching the Washington Wizards?
No, not at all. I'll tell you this. I'll tell you the truth. Not at all. I haven't watched one game with these dudes. I've literally checked my ESPN app to see if they won or how the players are doing points wise. But then I was like, I even stopped looking at that once I saw like all the COVID cases with that team. And I'm like, well, they haven't played in like a week. Well, 7 games or whatever. So it's probably even longer than a week. I'm like, yeah, I don't got time for them.
Last night was the first Wizards game that I've watched from beginning to end. There are Wizards games that I watched, and I might have watched 2 quarters or even 3 quarters, but not the whole game. They faced the Houston Rockets in Houston, so that was the rematch with John Wall, former team, and John Wall came out hot. Started out hot, ended the game hot. Wizards were playing well, but fizzled down, of course, in the fourth quarter.
As always.
Yeah. John Wall had some highlights in the fourth quarter. Started talking all the noise to Russell. Russell and him get at it. They both get double technicals. Russell tries to go on a run. Russell doesn't do much. Wizards lose by double digits, I believe, at the end of the game. Wizards that was their second game after missing 6 games due to COVID restrictions. Now, don't get me wrong. Rui Hachimura didn't play. Denny Avdia didn't play. The shooter didn't play. Davis Bertans. Of course, Thomas Bryant is out.
Did Alex Len play?
He did play.
Okay.
He didn't start. Obviously, he wasn't playing this year, I believe. One thing I did like, Jordan Bell gave energy.
Oh, that's right. I forgot they picked him up.
He gave energy. I liked it. Now, Russell Westbrook is injured. I don't care what anyone says. He's injured.
Yeah, he's so injured. Yeah.
He has lower body and upper body. He could, like, even dribbling the ball, he was struggling. Like, that ball handling, I was like, this is not Russell. This is not Russell. He's out here just fumbling the ball, getting it stolen. Like, when was Russell Westbrook getting the ball stolen from him?
True.
Like, that being said, the issue is still the defense. And at some point, you got to put it on the coaches and say, you're not getting these guys to play defense.
It's Scott Brooks, man. That's his MO right there. Like, even when he was in Oklahoma City, no defense. It's terrible. No defense at all. It's terrible, man. I don't get it.
So yeah, man, and I'm tired of the excuses because look, Wizards haven't had John Wall in 2 years. The same issue has been going on for 2 years. When he was there, that was it still was an issue.
Still was an issue.
Bradley Beal becomes an all NBA type player. Defense is still the issue.
Yeah.
Rui Hachimura, Thomas Bryant, putting in Isaac Bonga, putting in Garrison Matthews, putting in Anthony Gill. We got Alex Len. We got Robin Lopez. Jordan Bell's in the lineup now. Raul Neto's in the lineup. The issue is defense. And like my boy Harold Law said on his live today, he's like, look, either they're not coaching them how to play good defense, or these guys don't respect them, so they're just not playing defense. And look, the easiest thing right now, get rid of Scott Brooks.
Get rid of the whole coaching staff. I don't even know who our coaching staff is, but I'm going to just say that we all know that Scott Brooks doesn't do defense. That's not his thing, whatever. So if you have your head coach who's just offensive, he's just offense, right? You have to have assistant coaches that are doing the defensive side of things. That's why they're assistant coaches. That a lot of times, like, these assistant coaches have more time on the floor with these players than the head coach does. So who are these assistant coaches, and why aren't they at least hounding the big men to be defensive? You know what I'm saying? Like, who's on the coaching staff, man? That's what I want to know. Who's on there? Scott Brooks, we already know his problem. He just definitely needs to go. But I want to know who these assistant coaches are. That there's not one defensive minded person on that team right now, let alone before. Even with John Wall, I mean, he had some defensive spurts, but I mean, we really, I mean, when you honestly think about it, we haven't had defensive players in a good while. You know what I'm saying?
So yeah, man, that's the issue. Number one, we've seen enough with Scott Brooks. Get Scott Brooks out of here.
Yeah, he needs to go.
Have an interim head coach, but look,
he doesn't need to die though, Jerry.
No.
No. He don't need to die. He just needs to go. Just go.
But look, honestly, if he wants to coach again, you got to go after Mark Jackson, because Mark Jackson got those Warriors to play defense. That's what he's known for, defense.
Mm-hmm.
We can score. We know we can score.
Yeah, we got
offense. With a trash offense, when you think about it.
yeah, we do. I mean, think about it. If you compare them to like all the other teams in the league, we're trash. Like, just off the player talent, we're trash. But we still put up numbers. You know what I'm saying? We still put up numbers offensively. It's just, defense. Mm-mm.
So yeah, man, just get a defensive minded coach in here. And I wanted us to try the Bradley Beal, John Wall again with a good coach, but obviously you traded John Wall. Let's look. Russell might be injured now, but when he's healthy, I mean, he is a top 10 NBA player when healthy.
Right.
So I want to at least see Bradley Beal and Russell at least have a chance. And look, I'm not asking for an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. We haven't made the playoffs in a few years. Can we get to the playoffs and have a shot at winning a round? That's
Right.
all I want as a fan. And then we take the next step. That's all I want, man. But anyways, the Brooklyn Nets, kind of up and down. Did you expected this up and down play with the Brooklyn Nets?
Yeah, a little bit, because when we think about it, it's two very ball dominant players playing the same position, and then you have KD who has to score, because if he doesn't score, you're not going to win. You know what I'm saying? So I expected a little up and downs with them, because just trying to figure out whose role is what and how to make the role happen. But then again, how to make Kyrie and the Beard just be happy on the court. You know what I'm saying? So I think they'll get it together, but I did expect a little up and downs with them.
LeBron James. How he's been playing pretty well. The other night dropped
James
46 points, I believe, against the Bulls or against the Cavs, who are playing good also.
They're playing great.
Woo, playing really good. And they don't have Kevin Love yet.
I was about to ask you what happened to Kevin Love. Is he injured? Because I haven't seen him on their box score, even as hasn't played. You know what I'm saying? He just ain't there.
I haven't on my basketball team. He hasn't played a single game. But LeBron James looking pretty good. Year 18. That 3-point jumper is looking better.
Oh yeah, he's smart. You know he's smart. You know how when you get older, you got to learn something new, and make something a little bit better, because soon enough those legs ain't going to be as strong as you're used to, and you got to have something else. And that's what LeBron. He's definitely been working on the shooting over the years, man. I can't be mad at that.
Averaging 6 3-point shots a game, and I believe he's shooting in the 40s right now this season. So hey man, they're looking pretty good right now. They're the best team in the NBA. So yeah, man, I think as of now, I know it's January, I would have to say he's the MVP right now. And one of the clear differences, he is the clear MVP this year compared to last year, where you could say it was Giannis for most of the year and then LeBron in the playoffs. And let's remember, the MVP award is a regular season award. It is not a
very true
award. So Giannis last regular season was clearly the best player in the regular season. But yeah, man, LeBron is playing really, really good right now. That'll wrap it up here for our NBA segment. Let's now get to our quick hitters. Major League Baseball, the Baseball Writers Association. You want to hear who they will be inducting this year in the Baseball Hall of Fame, then?
Nobody.
Oh,
yo,
man.
Look, I'm gonna tell you right now, they just need to go ahead and just put Barry Bonds and Curt Schilling and what was that?
Roger Clemens.
Yeah, Roger Clemens, all of them. Just put them in, man. Just do it. Mark McGwire, just do it. Just finally do it. We all know who did steroids, who allegedly did steroids, who actually did steroids. And that was the best time of baseball, regardless of how you want to see it, whether steroids is illegal or not. Coming from a guy who played baseball himself and talking to other baseball players that I know, yes, steroids help to a degree, like with anything else. But it doesn't make you a better baseball player. Steroids does not make you a better baseball player. There's so much other mechanics and everything else involved that makes you a better baseball player. Steroids don't help you with timing. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't help. It might help you a little bit with speed. It does help you with power, but it does. Anybody can hit a ball, powerful as hell, but where are you going to put it? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to hit that 90
8-mile-an-hour fastball. That steroids didn't make your arms quicker to turn around and see that ball better. You know what I'm saying? So just put these dudes in there. They're the reason why baseball is where it is right now, because they made baseball exciting, folks. Exciting. Like the real diehard fans, yes, they watch during the season, but the casual baseball watcher only watches in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. So exciting baseball, that was throughout the season when it came to these guys. And a lot of them are the best at their position. You know what I'm saying? So at this point, who cares, man? Just put them in. Let's stop the talk, because every time you hear about it, it's going to be, oh, well, they left out Barry. They left out this. They left out this person, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be your story every single time, every single year. You don't want that story anymore. You know you don't.
Just like I said about these NFL owners that are hiring black coaches, some of these writers at this point, man, they just old. They just gotta die. Like,
how Sway take a few steps.
There you are again.
Too many old people like doing old stuff and
No, you're right.
Like these gatekeepers who are out there just killing. You're killing the game.
I need to see who these writers are. Like, they need to list. I need names and pictures to see who these guys are, yo. Because some of these guys, I swear, are they real writers, or they just been there the whole time? Like, they're grandfathered into this baseball writers thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you right, man. They gotta go. Especially if they real old, they gotta go, because they still living off of Mickey Mantle days and stuff, Cal Ripken days. Well, early Cal Ripken days, not even late Cal Ripken days.
The whole notion that no one should be a unanimous Hall of Fame inductee because some clown back in the 1920s or 30s didn't vote for Babe Ruth to be unanimous. So now we have to keep that tradition that no one can be unanimous till we got Mariano Rivera last year or 2 years ago. And you're like, hold on, that's the first person? Like, so like Jackie Robinson wasn't unanimous, and like Hank Aaron wasn't unanimous on the first ballot, and Bob Gibson and all these other like great players. Like, what? Like, are y'all serious? That is the way the sport is. That is the way the sport is. That'll wrap up here for our quick hitters. Let's now get into our champ and chump of the week. We celebrate those who do well, and we criticize those that do not. Starting with you, Big Thad. Who is your champ of the week?
Oh, champ of the week. All right. Tom Brady.
Baby want a champ.
I mean, who thought? I mean, be honest with you, like, I knew he was going to Tampa Bay, but watching Tampa Bay last season, I'm like, there's no way Tom Brady could come to Tampa Bay and bring them to the Super Bowl. Maybe playoffs because of the talent that he had around him, but not the Super Bowl, man. So he's going back for number 10. Yeah, he's a champ.
Yeah, man. I mean, he had 3 turnovers in that game, but when it really mattered, he got them a couple first downs. And yeah, man, I have nothing wrong with that. Champ of the week. My champ of the week has to go to the Washington football team.
Baby want a champ.
They hired the first black full-time women head coach. They also hired Mark Mayhew to be the not general manager, because you already had what was dude's name? The general manager that was.
We talking about Doug Williams?
Football operations.
Right.
So Mayhew is going to be heading over the football operations. So you have a black general manager, you have a black president of football operations, you have a Mexican American head coach, and you have a black woman as a full-time head coach. You'll be the assistant running back coach. So shout out to them. All right, Big Ten, who is your chump of the week?
You know what? Because I didn't even know who he was. Kevin King.
Man, y'all piling on the rookie. I mean,
just because. Just because.
Look. That was like football 101. They got one play left. You can't let them get behind you.
That's like, yeah, he was basically like the dude for the Jets who lost that game for the Jets on the last play. Yeah.
Yes. All right, my chump of the week goes to, and I had it here. Ooh, Coach K.
Because you're a chump.
Coach K.
Ooh,
Coach K.
no.
A little feisty with a student reporter. Because the reporter asked, well, what's the next step after these, you've taken these losses. He was like, well, I'm trying to focus on, this game. You're like, do people ask you questions right after you get out of your class right away? How would you feel? Da, 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 da. And I'm just like, look, he's doing his job. Like, and by the way, y'all suck. Like, y'all not good. Y'all not, who's on Duke right now?
Look, don't get me wrong. Duke always has the talent, as always. But Coach K don't want to coach this year. He does not want to coach this season at all. And I think it's showing in them players because they're looking terrible. I've never seen Duke this bad in a long time, man. And yeah, he did go on the student though. It's like, what's your major? I'm econ. He's like, yeah, so blah 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 blah. It was like, yo, Coach K is wild, son. He's wild. So I got you. I feel you on him being the chump this week.
Yeah. So Coach K, my chump of the week. Let's
play it again, Jay. Play it again. Play it again. No, play it again on him. Play it again on him.
Yeah, play it again.
Because you're a chump.
Oh man, let's now get into our sports free zone where we take a break from sports. We'll just talk about what's going on in the world. And let's now introduce to the show cousin Chrissy. Chrissy.
Hey, unmute yourself, yo.
I told you this was gonna be messy, yo. This is gonna be so messy.
Hi guys.
What is going on, Chrissy?
Hi cousins.
What up?
How are you guys?
Doing well. Before we get to the topic that we really brought you in for, talk about Joe Biden's executive orders that he had signed today. Did y'all see any of them today?
The 50th birthday one?
I don't know, man. I'm asking
y'all. I heard there was some talk of him positioning a bill to the Senate about making DC a 51st state.
Okay.
We don't need that. We don't need that.
Something that is really cool.
What? So, okay, I often feel like so you guys know I was born technically in Maryland, but along with y'all, but I don't recall past like the age of 3 of living in Maryland because I moved to DC and I matriculated all through DC public schools. I'm a very native ass Washingtonian. Can I curse on here?
Yeah. You good.
I'm a very native ass Washingtonian. So it's a double-edged sword, especially because of, however you can have whatever feelings you feel about gentrification and whatnot. It's a double-edged sword. A lot of what I grew up with was very boarded up buildings, and to have this city have a plethora of revenue that comes in from all different facets is great for the economy of the city. It just should go to the people that have lived here their whole lives.
No, you're right.
That's it in a large part. It doesn't go to our education in a large part. We've had a lot of schools that have been renovated because of it. We've had a lot of things that have come of it. But as much as we pay in parking, as much as y'all pay for these new people that live here, considering the extreme, the range that went from as gentrification, then yes, we should have more. And it's a very double-edged sword. So I have a lot of feelings about it, as we know.
I think.
As we know.
Hey, I was born in DC. I wasn't born in Maryland.
Okay, sir. You ain't listen. I tell everybody, you wasn't dodging the bullets I was dodging. You don't get the There's no ifs, ands, buts about it. Period.
I got you there. I got you there.
Correct. And that's all I ever have to say. And everybody's like, all right, you got it.
Here's some of his executive orders. He had an executive order on tackling the climate crisis at home and abroad. He had an executive order on establishing President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology.
There was a Secretary of State one in there too. So that's the only thing I feel. I don't know that it will make it as right as it should be. There should be a reason. I tell people all the time, we have more people here per capita than Wyoming, but we don't have representation for it because we're not a state. And so it sucks. Right. And that's the most of it that sucks is like, at least give us the right to vote for stuff that we have to get taxed for, at least.
Yeah. Definitely agree with you on that. So Harriet Tubman should be on the 20. They're planning on.
I'm excited about this. I can't wait to get a dub. Like a dub is new now. Like a dub has Harriet Tubman on it. Tubman.
They're gonna resume to try and get the production of $20 bills with Harriet Tubman on.
I'm excited.
Yeah, so it's gonna be all about the Tubmans. People ain't gonna be talking about
the Tubmans. It's a new thing.
Get these tubs. Anyway, we brought you here to talk about dating.
Oh gosh. I didn't know Thaddeus was gonna be here for this, by the way.
Look, I didn't know I was gonna be here for this either. This is gonna be great.
Thaddeus is my big cousin, and I am Jared, the fourth greatest Grenadian's big cousin. So I'm in the middle.
Yes, you are in the middle of us too.
Yes.
So the reason why I thought about this question on Twitter.
Oh gosh.
Please, let me find
Not Twitter.
and
Twitter getting everybody in trouble.
Oh gosh, I'm not ready. I don't even tweet.
Right? Twitter and Clubhouse. That's the two things that get everybody in trouble.
Either. I don't want to hear people's voices that much.
Yeah.
By the way,
it was on chalkboards for me a lot of times. I'm a weird one. I don't like it. I feel like I was in college and I had a bunch of roommates. I like when collective women speak. It's like nails on a chalkboard for me. It's weird. I have to like. I understand why y'all mute women out, low key. I do.
Misogyny from a woman. Jeez.
I told you it's gonna be messy, man.
Let you know your cousin's a real one. I don't. That joint is like nails on a chalkboard, and I feel y'all.
My goodness. Now I'm trying to find the tweet, but pretty much we can start it off before I find the tweet.
Okay, go ahead.
I'll start with you, Thad. What was one of the pettiest reasons that you had to stop talking?
Oh, I know what mine is. God.
Ooh, one of the pettiest reasons.
Yeah, where you're just like, you know what? I don't care how petty this is. I gotta stop talking to
yeah, I know what mine is. It happened in 2020.
Let Chrissy go because I gotta think about this one. Yeah, let Chrissy go first.
Okay, it's bro petty. So, okay, I don't want to say what I already said what year it is, but I won't say. So that's my mom in the background.
Is that Vicky?
That is Vicky.
Yes, me.
It's she.
Oh.
So I didn't stop talking to him because of this. So I just realized we were on the same page in a lot of ways. But one of the things that I really disliked about him was the way he tied his shoes.
Ooh.
The way he tied his shoes. Now you got to explain. How did he tie his
Okay,
shoes?
judge your mother. I'm just saying. So he had really wide feet, just really wide extremities, and he would tie them like really tight. And so it just be this like wide tightness. Okay, again, because I'm from DC, like I'm used to your laces being like to the point like you don't have to fully tie them. Or maybe
Mhm.
you kind of do, but not like you like yank them. And not like, and if your foot is wide, like I couldn't. It made me almost want to vomit. Like I'm petty, and I realized that was my pettiest moment. That's probably the pettiest thing I've ever stopped. It was other reasons too, but I also was just like, I don't like the way you tie your shoes.
Oh man. What was one reason where you're just like, yeah, I can't talk to this young lady. I can't.
It's petty.
Nah,
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, not sorry, but it's petty.
Nah, I think my most pettiest time was I met like this young lady's family, and I was like, nah, cuz nah.
Get out.
I got out, bruh. I was like, nah. Like, just think I'm just looking at the family and I'm like, nah, like you might end up like this when you get older. If we do, if we grow together or whatever.
We grow together.
And I'm like, nah, can't do it. Like, I met them. I managed while I was in there. You know what I'm saying? But
Not as petty as somebody's shoe tie. So.
nah, not at all. Not at all. I can't believe that. That was petty.
It was other reasons too, but that was a
Well,
major
maybe
part.
that was petty. But I think mine was a little bit more savage because like she hit me up the next day, like, hey, what are you doing? Blah blah blah. And I never responded.
I knew you was about to say that.
Yeah. I never responded. I just let it go.
I knew
I
you
let
was
it go.
going to say that.
No. Kept
So
the moving.
before I get to
Are we gonna have ghosting as a topic? Because
look, you, and I'm saying it now because she may actually hear it. Christina needs to come on here too.
we
Because
should have a double Christina episode.
the two Christinas who are Leos, oh my goodness, y'all need.
Shout out to my Christina Leo.
So before I get to one of mine, because I have a couple, one person on Twitter said he used his military discount to get in the strip club.
Okay.
He was just like, nah, I can't.
Okay.
Another person said on our first and only date, we were sitting at the bar and he decided to start swiveling on the bar stool.
What's swivel?
Like started spinning around on the bar stool.
Right.
Like,
To himself. What's wrong with that? I would take a bar swivel over a tight shoe.
True.
another person said he ate his food one dish at a time. First the broccoli, then potatoes, then the chicken.
That. That's how your palate is set up.
Right? Some people are picky, man. Yeah.
This makes me feel better about my tight shoes and my having hands. Now he got having hands. I hope he doesn't watch it ever.
Here's another one. Well, actually, let me go to one of mine. So one of them was
What? What was one of yours?
I'm saying it. So
I know.
we go on a date. Hold on. What do you mean you know? Did I tell you?
I'm pretty sure we know about this.
This has to be.
Yeah.
This has to be so petty.
So we go on a date. No, this one isn't so petty. The next one is gonna be. You're gonna be like, "Fine." we go on a date. Mind you, like we're both, I think 21. Yeah, 21. We're just drinking age legally. I don't really drink. I don't have a problem if my date was drinking. My problem was it was 9 drinks in. And I'm just like, yo, a drink is
9.
9. Yes, 9. And I'm just like, are you okay?
He
That was the problem. I was just like, oh, jeez.
Yeah. What? Now, was she sloppy?
No, she
Was she
wasn't.
sloppy drunk?
It was
She's
just like,
strong.
Oh,
She's
she-
strong, not sloppy, and she's 9.
Nah.
9.
I mean, I think, man, she might be cool with me. You know what I'm saying?
Wait. Hold on. What was the 9 drinks?
It was like premium liquor.
We are like 9 drinks.
Like vodka, rum. She was mixing it up. I was like, yo, like this is like
I didn't see her uncle do a lot in 7, so
Come on,
Yeah,
bro. Like,
she has me.
9 on a date. 9 on a date.
hey, I mean, some people have a vice, man, and
Like 9. So I just was like, nah. Now, before I get to this one, I'm gonna read some other ones we've visited this
Okay.
week. Twitter. Most of these are from women talking about men because the woman did say, "What is the pettiest reason you left a man?" So that's why it's mostly women. One woman said she went to the movies, leaving the movie theater. He said he was hungry. I said I was hungry too. Instead of him taking us somewhere to eat, he took us back to his place to watch Martin and kept complaining about being hungry. Going on 12 a.m., I told him to take me home. He did. I poured me a bowl of cereal and called it a night. 30 minutes later, he gonna text me. Listen, 30 minutes later, he gonna text me saying he got himself something to eat. He's about to go home and eat it. Like, damn, he really didn't want to feed me. He was hungry, but he was like, I ain't feeding you.
The mayor of audacity.
mm,
The mayor of audacity.
Before I get to my next story, what is something from you all? Like, what's another reason?
I already gave mine. It's up to Big Thad right now. Okay.
You only gave one. You only gave one.
mm.
Sorry, I have to take a shot.
Look. I'm pretty sure Chrissy might be the pettiest of the pettiest.
No, that's the
You know what I'm
pettiest.
saying?
I have other reasons why I don't like men, but the shoe tie is the pettiest, for sure.
I got you.
And the hands.
Let me
If
think.
they're like hobbit hands. But that's neither here nor there. I hope he
So-
never
So here's one person from Twitter. He was short and had a king size bed. He had to jump into the bed to get in.
Okay, also, so that the sports world knows, Chrissy is 5'2", okay? So lots of times men are taller than me. When they are not, and not much taller than me, yes, I often am like, no, thank you. I like a good 5'10"-ish range. It's a happy place because I can reach you. You know, if you're taller than that, that's okay. I've been there as well, and we're good. But I don't like people.
You don't want to be eye level.
You see, I'm here. You see, I'm here, Thad. You see, I'm here. You see, I'm here, Petey. I'm here. I don't want to be here.
I got you.
But as you all know, I tell people all the time, I'm 5'2", but I'm the tallest person in my family. My mother, sister, niece, grandmother are all shorter than me. And that is just what it is. And I am very tall as where I come from until I come out in the rest of the world with the rest of you.
Yeah.
So,
That's the fact.
before I get to mine, have another
Yeah.
one.
What is your petty?
Okay,
Fourth
I'll
thing.
get to mine and I'll get to the pettiest of petty.
Get to your petty, because I feel like your petty is probably more petty than mine. Low key.
So I was talking to a young lady, or I thought I was interested, you know, she was all right. We're talking, you know. She said, yeah, I went out of town this past weekend. And I was like, oh, okay, like where'd you? She was like, yeah, I went out of the state. She didn't say out of town, she said out of state.
Mm-hmm.
Key, out of state. I was like, okay, so where'd you go? Mind you, where do we live, Chrissy?
Maryland?
Yeah. She
Yes.
said I went to Baltimore this weekend. And I just was like, huh? She's like, yeah, I went to Baltimore this weekend. I just was like, oh. It was a no-go after that. I just
This
was
is
like,
why I have a type. This is
What's-
why.
geography is one of them. They gotta know.
Listen, I tell people all the time, as you have children, I would tell you this with your beautiful son, is that you should always put maps in kids' rooms. When I was a kid, I had a big map with all the flags, and I learned all of them because when I would get in trouble, it was just me and my map. That's all I had.
True. You know what? I think I had a globe at one point.
Correct. And when when it was just you in your room, it was you and your globe, right?
Yeah.
So I've always known all about the word. Also, we're all from a different country. So ish. Well, for me, I'm not like half-ish. But like, so like you get that like the world is bigger than just us. And it makes you feel comfortable. Like when you meet other people, you want them to be learned. You want them to like travel. You want them. I have a type. I want you to be funny and like nerdy. That's usually it. I want you to be funny with sense. That's usually my type. Yeah.
Oh man.
But I don't really like people that much, so it it falls short on lots because we're talking about dating.
No, I feel you about that.
It
Here's
falls
another-
short on lots.
Here's another reason from a Twitter user. Said
Okay.
when the waitress asked how he would like his steak cooked, he said fried.
Listen, so you all know I work in a restaurant. This is what I'm gonna say. There's a lot of things that a lot of people don't know.
True.
And I'm gonna leave it there. There's a lot of things that a lot of people don't. Like you could ask for. So I work at a seafood restaurant. Several things on our menu are like tuna, salmon, steak. And if I ask how would you like it cooked, the answers that I get,
Ridiculous.
What just
there are a lot of things that a lot of people don't know.
so can you give us an example of what someone would say?
Usually they ask me, what am I asking about? Like usually they're confused by my question. And I'm like, so the temperature. So like, and then they're also confused. And I was like, okay, rule of thumb for me, everything except for tuna, because I don't eat tuna. But if I did eat tuna, I would get a medium rare. But for everything else, I get medium well.
Mhm.
I remember before you guys' grandpa passed, so I went to stay with, I went to Grenada the year before he passed. My father had me stay with him. For a lot of time. And a lot of our conversations, so I would like go up and try to like chill with him. And one of our conversations was about fish. And he had a very deep, methodical conversation about how fish should be cooked.
Right.
He was like, don't ever let the white man give it to you. I'm hilarious. But he had a very methodical, like he went from the rooter to the tutor about how fish should be cooked and why. But yeah. Shout out to Coleridge.
Yeah.
But yes.
Here's
No,
You know,
people ask wild things.
nah, you know what? Come to think about it,
That's a big
I
talk.
think I stopped talking to somebody because they got their steak well done.
I like medium well.
Yeah, I got to. Is it me? I'm either medium well, or I've gone to medium rare at times also.
Even with salmon, because if you get salmon, it's still like not like it's like jellified. It's like
Mhm.
weird. Like medium salmon is different from like smoked salmon to me. So like in my head, it's still like close to being like it's not really. And I remember those conversations with Granddaddy when he was like, "Make sure your fish is cooked," and I'm like, so I'm like, yes, medium well is a happy place. but people, it astonishes me the amount of conversations that I have to have with people about what temperature means for your meal. Like I would say that's a universal thing, and it's not. It's not as much as you would think.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
Not at all.
So here's another one. We went on a date to a Mexican restaurant.
Went on a date to Mexico? Is that what that was?
Mexican restaurant.
Mexican restaurant, yeah.
I heard Mexico. I was like, wait, okay.
He picked up the burrito with his hands and bit directly into the middle.
I would expect a time.
You go this way? Oh, he was eating it this way. Because I was like, hold on. You do bite in the middle. But then I was like, oh, the middle. Oh, I got you.
I feel like that would be weird, but I don't know if I would stop talking to you for it. I feel like that'd be weird though. The middle, that's weird. That's weird. That's definitely weird.
Yeah.
Oh man, someone said his lazy eye would roll around faster than he drank.
No. You got me a lazy eye. That's enough for me. Shout out to my handicapped folks. That's enough for me.
My man said the lazy eye was just swinging around.
Like she said, shout out. Yes, I did, Jack. I said shout out to my handicapped folks, but that's not for me. It's enough for me. You would never. But shout out to y'all. Y'all be blessed. Be one.
Right.
Not for me.
So someone said he ate with all of his fingers, like all 5 fingers holding a chicken wing, pinky helping and all. I could not.
What? No, that's not what That's not what First of all, in certain cultures, you don't even use utensils, so you all use all your fingers. I'm not gonna be mad at somebody for using all their fingers. Like, I'm not gonna be mad. I just feel like, why you not eating at the top of the burrito? Like, I'm not mad at you for using all your fingers. I'm mad at you for not using the top of the burrito. That's
right.
Yeah,
that's weird. Like, clearly the opening is up top. Why you in the middle?
Right.
And then you gotta go around. Now you munch it. Well, you could be smart.
So we're gonna end this one on this one. This segment on this one. And Christy, you should probably stay for our final segment because I think you'll be
Lord.
good perspective on this. But we'll end this segment on this one. She said, first date, I ordered eggplant parmesan. He ordered steak. He was like, he ordered steak.
Okay.
Daddy.
He said, do you like it? I said, well, yeah, I do. He said, and he just kept on staring at her meal.
Right.
I said, you want to try this? He said, I was just waiting for you to offer. He switched our plates and he took my food. So he basically switched plates. It was like, I'm eating this now.
I was making sure my sad face was in the frame. You took your eggplant parmesan, sis? That's a delicious meal at a certain restaurant.
Oh man, that will wrap it up here for our sports-free zone. Chrissy, you will stay part of the last segment.
Okay.
This segment, we're back into sports, but it stems from conversation on Twitter that my friend Anthony Hackett posted, and he asked questions, kind of like what should happen for transgender athletes. And I kind of was gonna write a post, but then I was like, you know what, this is gonna be real long. I was like, I'd rather just talk about it because I don't want to be typing a dissertation on Facebook, making it seem like I really care about the situation, but just want to kind of make people enlightened about the situation. Now, the NCAA. Go ahead, Chrissy.
No, go ahead.
Oh, the NCAA actually has some clear guidelines on transgender athletes, and not just transgender athletes, just athletes on a whole. Pretty much,
My facial recognition software.
NCAA has they pretty much said, look, we know that in general, men are stronger than women.
Physically,
Yes.
well,
So-
externally, physically, y'all can never have a period. But carry on.
True.
You're right. You're right.
You're right.
Men
I'm
are stronger than women. So they said, look, if you are a woman and you want to play in a men's sport, and
Mhm.
there is no women's sport of the same, there's not the same sport, a comparable sport, you can play in the men's sport. For example, in college football, women can play on the football team because you are playing up.
right.
Men cannot play women's sports.
Right. No.
Now, no, not at all. Now, when we get transgendered individuals,
Mm-hmm.
NCAA has guidelines for that. They say, hey, look, if you're a trans woman, meaning you were biologically or you were or are biologically a man, but you identify or you were assigned as a woman.
You playing
They said-
field hockey?
Say that again.
You playing field hockey?
Hmm?
You playing field hockey?
Yes. Or any sport. Like, let's say
Sure. That's just like
you're a transgendered woman, you have to now show proof that you've actually taken hormone suppressant because your testosterone levels cannot be at a certain level to then compete in the women's game. And that's the rule. They're like, look, if you're a transgendered woman, because of biology, we know that you will tend to be stronger than cisgendered women. So you need to take suppressants. Once you reach those levels, then yes, you can play with the women. If you're a transgender man, it's like playing up because it's like, okay, you are biologically a woman, but you identify as a man and you want to compete with the men, you can play up, no issue. And then obviously with the professional sports, they usually are professional leagues. And the professional sports more lean toward how the NCAA governs it. And we actually just haven't had a situation yet in American professional sports. So we haven't gotten there yet, but I would assume
you ain't yet.
they will take the approach of the NCAA.
Right.
The trick comes now on the high school level.
Oh, because that's
And,
where it originates.
and on the high school level, I think the issue that comes up is just there's so many jurisdictions. There's 50
Ways to put people.
there's 50 states, there's multiple counties in each state, stuff like that. We had an incident, an occurrence, I'm not gonna say incidents, an occurrence where two transgender girls decided to run track with the girl circuit, and they were dominating the field, and a lot of people were upset. Some of the girl track and field athletes, their parents, because they felt like, well, they're not taking hormone suppressants. They're essentially boys running with the girls. And they had big lawsuits. I honestly can't remember what came out of it. I believe that was in Connecticut or Rhode Island.
Yeah. Wasn't that? Weren't it like the? I don't even know how to say it. Well, what the guys when they raced against guys, they were losing like consistently. They just straight terrible. And now they're racing against women. And I remember that story. Yeah.
And then we had an incident in Texas where actually it was a transgendered boy, but because of Texas's laws, they were like, no, you have to compete with the gender that matches your genitalia. So he was like, "Well, I want to actually compete against the boys because I identify as a boy, and I've been taking hormones, testosterone to be a boy and turn into a man. But
Right.
because of Texas's archaic rules, they were like, well, no, you're a woman, China, and now you got to face the women and now girls. He because he identifies as a man,
Right.
was competing against girls and was just mopping the floor with them.
Mhm.
So you have issues like that in different states. Thad, what do you think should be the course of action? Or is it high school? Is it just like, look, this is the gray area? It's just like, look, it is.
I mean,
I feel like a lot of emotions go through like teenagers. So like, sure, a lot of it is puberty. It's amazing the laws that they created in this country per state when a lot of it is puberty. But you know, carry on.
I mean,
So, what do you think?
high school sports would have to have like a main governing body like the NCAA for something like that to happen, because you're going to have, like, just in the state of Maryland, you have so many different athletic conferences because of private school, public school, all that. So every state's going to be the same way, where they have multiple jurisdiction in regards to their sports. So they're going to have like high school sports are going to have like their own NCAA for them to make it how they want to be, whether it's, equally amongst everybody, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I definitely expected that in Texas. Texas don't play. They do everything the way they want to do in Texas. So yeah, I mean, that's what high school sports are going to have their own governing body, like the NCAA, to do something like that for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
What else do you add to this, Chrissy?
No, I agree. I think it has to happen on the high school level before you even get to college and like the NBA. I think there has to be like a lot of more restrictions and what they allow players to do and how they allow them to monetize their skills from the high school level before they ever get to college level or NBA. I think it's absurd that like colleges exploit money out of kids at a very young age before they even get to the pros.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's absurd. And there should be some sort of resolve or restrictions at the youngest of age when they're most vulnerable because they're kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I see. So if, let's say, high school does have a governing body that's similar to the NCAA, I can see an issue where transgendered individuals who come from money will ultimately benefit, because then they will be able to transition a lot easier than individuals who don't.
Oh, I got you. Yeah, I got you.
Let's use the example of the track and field, the two track and field girls in Connecticut or Rhode Island or Massachusetts, one of those states. Let's say they came from low income families, but they're trans. Like, we can't stop them being trans. Like,
Right.
are we going to sit here and say, no, you have to get on hormone therapy and you got to prove that your testosterone levels aren't as high before you can compete? That's going to basically deter them or not allow them to be who they are. So I do see an issue like that. But I see the other side. High school is the point where you get your scholarships to go to college. And if you're constantly losing to someone who has a competitive advantage over you,
And in real life, I said it before, in real life. That's not a lie.
that's a problem. So high school it's a gray area. I don't know what the ultimate answer is. The easiest answer is to adopt the NCAA method,
Right.
or but that's not easy in 50 states with multiple jurisdictions. So
Right.
that is for going to
Maybe
be.
Papa knew. Hey.
I saw what's up. Well, that'll wrap it up here for our Reddit topic of the week. Before we get out of here, I want to give a big shout out to you, Christy, for coming on for the second time.
Chrissy.
Hey.
I guess next time we do have to talk about ghosting at some point. Like that's what.
We can talk about this. We can't talk about it right now. We're done.
Nah, we'll wrap the show.
I don't go to anybody. I just feel like you're not supposed to be here.
We'll talk about ghosting next time you come
Shout
on.
out to Thaddeus and Jeremy for accepting my savagery as a cousin.
It's all good. You know what
I
I'm
don't
saying?
think you have. I don't think you have to accept. I think we are who we are. So it's just like it's in the DNA. So
That's right. That's right.
Thad,
Solidarity I feel. The energy I feel.
Thad, I want to thank you for everything you're doing for us. We spent hours, like we said, coming into this podcast trying to set everything up, and it's working.
It's working pretty good.
Yep. I want to thank everyone who's listening to this podcast live, watching live, or who will then on the on demand or on the podcast platform of your choice. Thank you for listening. Until next time, everyone. Sports Frenzy. Peace.
Peace.
Bye.